we're joined now by Owen Smith. Owen, how's it going?
Going pretty good. How about yourself?
Good, man. Thanks for being on the show. Thanks for taking the time to join us. I like starting off every interview with these questions for drivers who are just starting off and climbing through the ranks. Where are you from? What do you race? And where do you race?
I'm originally from Louisa, Virginia, a little town right between Charlottesville and Richmond. A lot of people probably know those two places, so good markers for me. And I've been racing late models since I was 13 years old. I started out at Shenandoah Speedway, a little-known track on the other side of the mountains in Virginia. And I ran there up until Dominion Raceway was opened up. And it was so convenient for us, 30 minutes from the house and a beautiful facility. So I said, hey, let's go racing there, and never look back.
Awesome, man. So what got you into racing? Was it just, hey, this looks fun, let's try it? Or was it like a family member who got you involved in it?
So kind of a funny thing is before the day that I went to my very first short track race, I didn't like racing. I didn't understand like the concept. I was like, this doesn't make sense to me. Why would I even want to go or watch or do this? And I remember the very moment it was at Southside Speedway. A family friend of ours, Ty Miller, invited us, and my dad kept asking me and trying to get me to go. And finally I broke and I said, okay, we can go. And I remember sitting on the infield pit wall during driver intros, and I said, this is amazing. I want to do this. This is absolutely awesome.
How old were you when that happened?
I was 10 or 11. I remember it was my 6th grade year. And I remember talking to my dad about it and, working on them little by little. And going into my 8th grade year, we bought a car from the same friend, Ty, and just slowly built it piece by piece, doing everything we could. Because when we first got into it, we didn't put the best of the best equipment in it. We just got it together to where it was safe and drivable for me.
Right.
And took off from there.
Awesome, man. Well, that's an interesting story because, I mean, you're doing literally what, every kid wants to do when they become a fan. It's like, I want to race, and you actually did it, man. So that's awesome. You mentioned how you found it, but because you reached out to us, and you're like one of the few once I sent out the invitation. And how did you come across Into Marbles?
So I was scrolling through Instagram one day, and it gives you recommended followers or recommended people to follow based on interest. And I saw your In the Marbles podcast, and I went and checked it out and followed it and listened to a few of them. And I was like, man, these guys are really cool. I like these guys. That they're down to earth. We have the same interest, obviously.
Right. And
so I just started listening to the podcasts, and I was like, I'm going to shoot them a message and see what they say.
Yeah, and it took a while. That happened a few months ago. You shot us a message, and just conflicts came up as far as you racing, and now in the ARCA Series. Tell us about that.
So it happened by kind of happenstance because I came here to college, and through the college I got signed on to this team to crew for them, and I was a over-the-wall member. I was a front tire carrier for the car for 2 years, also garage crew member. And I remember at Kansas last year, the last race of the season, the car owner, Andy Hillenberg, came over to me and he asked, would you be interested in driving for me next year? And I said, absolutely, I would love to do that. And I told him up front, I said, I don't have the money to come out and do this, because it's not cheap to run ARCA Series.
Oh, yeah.
And, he just kind of said, we'll work with you. So.
Oh, that's awesome. I mean, Andy Hillenberg's a well-known name in not just NASCAR, but auto racing as far as that. And that's really cool. You got the opportunity to do that. So you got the chance to be a crew member and promoted to driver. That's pretty neat. That's really awesome.
It's literally like a Talladega Nights story almost.
I was going to say that, but I didn't really want to insult you.
No, that's me and my family's favorite movie. And interesting fact, Andy Hillenberg actually helped them with that movie.
Man, it's like you're just like Ricky Bobby, man.
Right.
That is awesome. So what would you, obviously you want to drive as much as you can, but would you be okay just being an over-the-wall crew member?
You have to look at it this way. it's not like racing in itself isn't like any other sport, because football, talent can take you as far as you want. Soccer, talent can take you as far as you want. You know, any other sport. But auto racing, it's a dollar figure game. If you don't have the money up front to be able to do this, you're not going to be able to make it. So basically what I'm riding on the backs of is sponsors and people willing to help. That's because if I were to put in every dollar that I have, I might be able to buy 2 sets of Speedway tires, and that's it.
Wow. I mean, and those tires aren't cheap, man. So who are your sponsors?
Right now in the ARCA Series, I don't have any.
Oh, no. Okay, so
I have,
we need
for
to get
Bristol. For Bristol, I have a a sandblasting company sponsoring me.
Oh,
Out
nice.
of North Carolina, and they kicked in a decent amount of money for me to go racing. So that really helped out for Bristol and to make the necessary upgrades to go and be decently competitive.
Right. And so you're racing Bristol this coming weekend, like Thursday?
Yes, this Thursday at 9
Okay.
o'clock.
Man, I wish I could be there. I'll be working, or else I'd definitely be there trying to watch our. I don't. If fans even allowed in ARCA yet?
They allowed them at Toledo this last weekend, but with it goes state by state, track by track,
Right.
and whether NASCAR's with them or not. I honestly have no clue for this weekend.
Okay, well that's a bummer. I wish I would have known. I would have planned out better and came and see your race.
My bad.
No, it's okay because that's my bad too. I took overtime at work for it, so don't worry. Where do you want to go from ARCA? Do you want to take? I take it you, like any driver, you want to climb the ladder to the Truck Series and then Xfinity and Cup. What's your long-term goals with racing?
So long-term wise, I would absolutely love to be able to run a full season in ARCA, and from there, basically to feel it out and see what kind of cost it would be to go to Xfinity. I used to work for a NASCAR truck and Xfinity team. It was Brandon-Built Motorsports.
Okay.
When I was in high school, and I was talking with the owner, and he said, economically speaking, the only difference between Xfinity and truck is that you run more races.
Interesting.
Cost-wise between the two, it's tit for tat almost.
Okay, and do you, as far as your ARCA team now with Hillenberg, are you guys planning to make that jump up to a higher series, or are you guys just happy with ARCA right now?
If and when I do go to make the jump to Xfinity, I would probably do it with another team.
Okay.
And I told Andy what my goals and plans are, and he said that he's willing to help me as much as he can.
That's awesome, man. It takes that help to advance your career. That's awesome. So what do you do more? Do you drive more or hit the car more at the moment?
This year I've been driving a lot more.
Oh, good.
But I mean, every week it just seems like there's something bad happens.
Yeah, I've looked at the past results, and if it's not one thing, it's another, and it doesn't seem to be your fault. It just seems brake issues, mechanical issues, just one thing after another.
It like 1 week we'll go to the track, and next week will be better, and then next week will be better, and then so on and so forth. But my time will come. I know. Just got to be patient.
Yeah, and that's the big thing with anything. It's just patience and stuff. And just out of curiosity, how old are you?
20.
Yeah, you got time, man. You got
Just
time.
be patient.
Yeah, be patient. You got more patience than I did at 20. I was ready to just do whatever it took just to get out of the Marine Corps when I was 20 years old. So worry not, my friend.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Just like my mom always says, she said, just pick away at it slowly. You can't take big bites.
No, yeah, you can't, or else you just end up going upside down, man. And I hear you. So what's the craziest thing that's happened to you this year to keep those wind in the sails? You have a crazy, like, just this good moment just happened for us and it's helped us throughout the way?
It's the opportunity that I have right now and the seat that I'm in. I know that just by anyone would absolutely kill to be in that position. So every time I get in the car, I say, no matter what happens, I'm grateful for this opportunity.
Right.
No matter what.
So, Owen, you said you started racing at 13, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're 20 now. So in the span of just 7 years, do you have like a favorite memory, whether it be racing or maybe, as Beamer said, pitting the car.
Uh, in race, I've made so many amazing memories throughout the years, but probably one that stands out the most was the first time that I ever wrecked with someone, actually.
Oh, okay.
And it was probably my second or third race ever. I remember I was going for a pass on the inside, and he got loose, and my front end got tight and shoved up into him. So we both kind of collided like this, spun around backwards, and then bounced off each other again. And I'm in the car, 13, 14-year-old me's just freaking out. I'm like, oh my God, what did I just do? He's going to be so mad. And I remember right after the race, I went down there and I went over to him. I said, I am so sorry for that. And, going on, apologizing. He said, for what? And I was like, for wrecking you. He said, oh, I was already wrecked. He said, you just came up in me a little bit. We're all right. And then I remember he said, young man, what's your name? And I said, Owen Smith. He said, well, I'm Alfred Tull. It's nice to meet you. And, I mean, that moment just, it made me realize that everyone's there for the same thing. Everyone wants to have fun. If you're not having fun, you shouldn't be doing it.
A lesson that people on platforms like iRacing and Formula One 2018 or 2020 should take.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because holy cow, they take that thing like they're racing for the cup every weekend.
I take it seriously too.
Yeah, but
it's okay to take it serious, but just enjoy it while you're doing it.
Yeah, there's one thing. I mean, I raced Daytona on iRacing, and do you iRace there, Owen?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, So I was racing Daytona, and I caused a wreck, and I got so many nasty grams. Like, how dare you wreck and not hold your line? It's like, who cares, man?
Yep.
Just race, just hit the reset button. But that right there tells me I take it that guy was more of a veteran than you were at the time there, Owen.
Yes.
Just that little, don't take it too seriously. Be serious about your career, but have fun with it, and good things will happen.
Exactly.
Everybody's out there to win. Nobody wants to get wrecked, but if you do, wrecks are a part of racing.
You just have to learn from it.
You just got to learn from it, and you can't help if you washed up.
Exactly. You could go out there and you could have the best car you've ever had in your entire life and blow a tire out and absolutely kill the car, but you have to be ready for that.
Yeah, absolutely. So Preston brought up best memory. What's the one of those memories that you look at and go, why did I do that? Do you have any of those stories in your short career of racing?
None that come right to mind of me saying, why would I ever do that? Honestly, you pretty much have to learn to live with whatever you do on the racetrack.
Okay.
So live with no regrets.
So moving forward here, you got Bristol coming up, and ARCA race isn't as long as the regular NASCAR seasons. What other races are you racing this year coming up here?
I'll more than likely be completing the rest of the ARCA season, and given my schedule with ARCA, I probably won't be competing in any late model races this year.
Okay. And that makes perfect sense. You can climb the ladder. What's your plans for 2021 for next year?
Right now, I'm hustling every day trying to find a sponsor for next year. And if we can make it happen, hopefully run a full season in ARCA.
Oh, that'd be great to see you in Daytona.
That's the big goal.
Yeah.
Or at least just Daytona to get my name out there.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I'll be in Daytona this next season, starting next year. So if you race there, I'll definitely stop by and, say hey and give you a T-shirt and stuff. But, going forward, as far as if you take the money out of it, what's the toughest part about going out there and getting it? You know what I mean? Money is a big thing, but what's the, if money wasn't an issue, what would be the second issue that you would be facing?
The competition.
Okay.
I'll give it to the drivers. Every other driver in the series, they're pretty stout. Every driver in the series, I think, is capable of winning in their own right.
Okay.
In another big thing is trying to compete with teams that have these cup backing. For example, Ty Gibbs or anyone with DGR Crossley.
Right.
If they want the latest and the greatest technology, they have it coming down straight from the top.
No,
Whereas us, we're picking at little things here and there, learning
right.
every week.
Right. Okay. And does that demoralize you at all? Like how these guys, maybe like the Gibbs guys, have it good just because, well, my grandfather's Joe Gibbs. I mean, does that like demoralize you?
I think about it a lot, and it doesn't bother me because I know that if I was in that exact same position, I would take it. So
Right.
I can't hold that over. I can't control who their family is. I can't control, because they didn't have anything to do with it. I'm not going to throw them under the bus. I'm not going to throw Joe Gibbs or anyone else under the bus. If I was in that position and my grandson wanted to race, I would do that in a heartbeat for them.
Right. Okay.
So it doesn't really demoralize me. I guess it just makes me want to work harder for it.
Well said there, Owen. You're wise beyond your years, I feel, and could see you going places. So going forward this season, I mean, with the issues that you've been having for breaks and everything like that, how do you deal with that on a driver level?
Just take a deep breath and think logically. What happened? How can we fix it? What can we do in the future to prevent this?
Okay. And so your relationship with your crew chief, I say, kind of like, do you ever go up to him and say, hey, what the heck? I mean, what are we doing wrong?
At Fast Track in the shop is extremely understaffed. I mean, we are a very budgeted team.
Right.
So, him prepping 3 cars because it's 1 or 2 people in the shop usually trying to prep 3 cars for an event just to head to the event, turn right around, and then get 3 more cars ready for the next race.
Right. So you're in a 3-car team.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Who are your teammates?
Mike Basham has been running with us this season,
okay,
as well as several other drivers, and Rick Clifton. Who else have we had? Max McLaughlin? No.
Max Callis.
Oh, yeah, Max Callis.
Okay.
So
I just saw you turn around there. Where are you at right now?
I'm in my apartment right now.
Okay.
My roommate's sitting in the room with me.
Okay. And does your roommate work with you on the team?
Yes, he's the fuel man.
Oh, nice. That's a dangerous job.
He loves it.
Hey, you got to love what you do. That's awesome. So, I mean, as far as that, do you guys, how's the team camaraderie there? It sounds like it's close with your fuel man being your roommate. Team camaraderie good at least?
Yeah, most of the crew goes to UNOH. So on a week-to-week basis, we're all there together. So, we've all pretty much learned to become friends with each other.
I mean, that's half of it right there is the chemistry of the team you're on. And can we get together, work well together, and, crack up and joke around with each other? That's a big one.
Yeah, I agree.
If you weren't racing, what would you be doing? Would you be working on the cars or focused on just getting into auto racing if you weren't a driver?
If I wasn't a driver at this point, I would more than likely be focusing on the shop side of things, fabrication, car setups, things like that.
Now, how important is that as a driver to know how the car is set up, what parts do, and
in my opinion, it is the most critical part of the car is the driver knowing his equipment.
Right.
Because from the driver's seat, there's so many tools that a driver can use, but if he doesn't understand why they do what they do, he'll never be able to use them as effectively as another driver who does.
So really, in just based on what I'm hearing is, you're kind of doing both. You're learning how to drive and learning the equipment and kind of doing both sides of the coin there.
Exactly.
And which is
never stop learning.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's true in anything in life. Never stop learning about anything. What do you do? I take it driving is your full-time job, but do you do anything on the side at all to help supplement income for the team? Or
I'll go out and look for sponsorships, like local businesses, send out emails, letters, pamphlets, things like that, trying to drum up interest with for sponsorship so we can go racing full time.
Okay, so your full-time job is racing.
Yes, sir.
Hey, yeah. Oh, you don't have to call me sir. I appreciate it, but you don't have to call me sir. But all right, man. That's awesome, man. I could see that that you want this really bad, and you have a great story and you're going forward with it, and that's awesome. What where do you okay, short-term goals. I asked you long-term goals earlier. What are your short-term goals as far as the ARCA series?
Short term for this season,
For the season, for the next 2 years, or however long? Because I know
finishing
you.
out this season, I would absolutely love to finish top 15 in points, especially with how late I've gotten into the season. I'm currently sitting 21st in point standings, and every week we've picked up a couple of spots.
Okay.
So I'm really hoping that by the end of the year, I can say that I finished top 15 in points. And next year, if we go full-time racing, finishing top 5 in the points would be like a dream.
I think you could do it. So, who's your biggest competitor on the track? Is it a teammate or is it someone else?
If I had to say overall, probably one of the best drivers in the series right now, in my opinion, is Sam Mayer.
Yep.
He's really tough.
I
And Chandler Smith, short track legend. I mean, I've seen him wheel a car like I couldn't even believe.
Okay, and do you feel like you're more competitive against your teammates or members or the other drivers on the track?
I feel like I'm more competitive with my teammates almost.
Yeah.
It's it's always that joking fact of, hey, I finished in front of you. Hey, I was faster than you in practice. It's that personal level that you can get on with them. Whereas, a competitor, you can't really do that.
Okay. So as far as your two other teammates, do you guys work well together? As in the sense of, hey, I can't figure out this setup. Can you help me? Is there good communication between the drivers?
Yeah, I talked to Mike Basham's a veteran in the ARCA series, and he's a really good person to talk to. I'll ask him questions, like, what are you doing that I'm not doing? Where are you braking? Where are you getting back on the gas? How's the car feel to you? Is it stepping out? Is it pushing you up the track? Things like that, and try and work with each other and see if we can make each other a little bit better.
Okay. And I mean, do you take everything he tells you and apply it, or do you take what works for you and apply it?
It's a case by case basis with a driver. A setup that works perfectly for one driver might be out in left field for another driver. But I'll take what he says, and while I'm on track, I'll say, let me feel the car out here where he's putting the car. And I'll also watch him during practice too.
Right.
So I'll try that out and see how it feels, and my spotter will, tell me if I picked up or if I lost on that lap. Well, okay, maybe this line isn't working for me, so let me try my entry but his exit. Take a little bit of both and make it the best I can.
All right. What's the scariest part about being a driver right now in your stage of your career?
It's a huge platform to be on. Everyone's eyes are on you. What you do is every little thing seems like you could be scrutinized for it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
Whereas, like, on the short track level, someone goes and does something stupid, no one hears about it. But here, everyone hears about it.
Right.
Also, the fact that I don't own the car that I'm driving anymore, so
yeah. Does that take pressure off of you, knowing that you don't own the car? Does that add more pressure?
It's like a ton of bricks on my back.
Right.
Every time I get in the car, I just have to take a deep breath and say, just do what you do.
Okay.
Just drive.
And as far as your experience as a crew member, do you feel more pressure as a driver or as a tire carrier?
I would say as a driver, I feel a lot more pressure for the amount of time that I'm under it. But a pit stop can make or break a race.
Yeah.
So I throw the tire on and I miss, and it causes us to lose 3 positions. That could be a serious detriment to the team.
Right.
Whereas a driver, it's all in your hands once you get off the pit road.
Okay. Do you do anything else besides carry tires for the team? I mean, like if the car isn't on the track, what would your main jobs be if you were a crew member for a given weekend?
Mainly gopher, making sure that the car is operating properly, you know, making small adjustments through our crew chief, making small adjustments on the car, changing tires in the garage area, making sure that the car's oil's up to temp before firing, cycling the oil systems, things like that.
Okay. Man, so you jack of all trades right there, and I take it that's important to. It's kind of like underappreciated position, but once you're a driver, you appreciate those guys who are doing that all for you, huh?
Exactly, and it's not easy work, and I
No,
know what goes into it. So whenever, you know, I see my crew doing something for me, I'm appreciative of everything they do.
right, and which is important to keep that loyalty and stuff like that. You ever been in a altercation on track or close to it, like an altercation? Like you see these big pit road fights and stuff. You ever been a part of one of those?
No,
Doesn't
I
seem
have not.
it doesn't you don't strike me as a guy who puts yourself in that position. So I was just curious.
It would take a lot to push me to that point, and I mean, I would have to be leading at Daytona and get blatantly wrecked and destroyed for me to even consider doing anything like that.
Of course, by leading, you'd be on the final lap coming down, and then just get turned. I take it. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. And
It'd be like giving a kid a lollipop and taking it away and throwing it in the trash.
after probably stumping on it and rolling it in the mud.
Yeah, that too.
Right. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it sounds like you just have such a cool head on your shoulders. It's amazing that you're just 20 and doing that, man. That's awesome.
My parents, really push the fact of keep a calm, level head and
Right.
act like everyone's always watching.
Would you say who's your biggest motivator as far as you wanted to get into racing and you tell your dad that, and like who kind of keeps pushing you? Is it your mom and dad?
They've been behind me this whole way. My friend Ryan, I met him when I came up here to college, and
Right.
he's been extremely supportive of me and great, and keep pushing me to do better every week.
Okay. Go. The one piece of advice you go back to yourself at 13, you're starting to race late models. What's the one piece of advice you would give that young 13-year-old Owen Smith as far as the career? Kind of
Push
like
5% more than you could every day.
5% more than you could every day.
Just give that little bit more every single day.
All right. That's good advice for not only race car drivers, but I think everyone could appreciate just that little bit more effort in life and whatever you want to do. It's awesome.
You may not see it the following day, but 10 years from now, it could be absolutely life-changing.
All right. Push 5% more. That words to live by there. Again, way wise above your years there, Owen.
Thank you.
So you're going to Bristol, short track. What are you hoping to get away from there? What are you hoping to take away from there?
Biggest thing would be finish a race.
Right.
That would make me happy, is finishing a clean race, honestly. I would love to say I would love to go out there and run top 10, but you also have to think about the competition you're up against and the experience and the seat time that they have that I lack.
And have you ever raced Bristol before?
No, I have not.
Oh, so this is your first time there. I mean, what's your biggest nervousness about it? What are you most nervous about? Is it just I've never raced there, or I don't want to get into anybody or cause any issues?
Turn 4.
Turn 4. Simply put, turn 4. Okay, why is turn 4 worry you?
Turn 4, just, I've watched a lot of film and I've ran a ton of laps on iRacing, and after being in the actual car, iRacing can't really even compare to it, but turn
Right.
4 always seems to be where something happens, whether I'm watching film or racing there in the sim. Every time, turn 4 just seems to always be that one spot, and the wall likes to creep up on you too, not to mention.
Right. Are you getting any advice from anybody else as far as that?
Not really. I'm
No,
I'm going into this pretty blind.
Well, just given the fact that we've been talking for the past 30 minutes or so, it seems like you got a good grasp, at least attitude wise. And I think that's half of everything in life, more than half. It's like 99% of it.
Half the battle's won.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. So you just go there and hold on tight and give them hell, the way I see it.
And enjoy my time there and just have fun.
Right. I mean, so your first time, I take it you've been there as a spectator or a worker, right? Or is this your first time at Bristol ever?
This is my first time at Bristol.
Ever. Wow.
Yeah.
That's a tall hill, man. I mean, that's a lot to process, man. And you get there, what, Wednesday or Thursday, right? Does ARCA do the same thing where they get there the day of, unload and go?
Yeah. Well, garages will open up at 1:00 for us.
Does that put a little more, with this whole COVID thing, does that put a little more pressure on you? Like, we don't have practice, we don't have qualifying, you just get in the car and go?
We will have practice and qualifying.
Oh, okay,
which
good.
I'm really excited for.
Well, that's good. At least you'll understand it a little. You won't just go in there blind for the race. It has to be.
That would be pretty scary, honestly.
That would be, I would say, pretty scary. Because
it'd be like jumping off a cliff without knowing what's at the bottom.
I wouldn't want to jump off a cliff anyway. You're crazy if you want to do that.
Hey, man, it'd be fun if there's water at the bottom.
It depends on how high the cliff is there, Owen.
You got a point.
Yeah, I mean, geez, I don't want to. When's this water coming smack, and then I'm hurt. However, and that's awesome. Like, just the way you process that and put it in there, because Bristol's not an easy track, but you're going there, and I say go get him, Owen. Go get that win. Go get that win.
I'm gonna dig for everything I can.
The heck with the top fives. Go get a win.
That should be everyone's goal when they go, but you also have to remember that's everyone else's goal too.
Very true. But I think you could do it. I think you could go and get yourself a win there.
That'd be absolutely awesome.
That would be awesome. And like I said, I wish I could be there, but got work, unfortunately.
Well, if I ever win there, if I ever win in the ARCA Series, period, I'm gonna be embarrassed on TV because I'm gonna be bawling like a baby.
Don't be embarrassed about crying, man, because I think that's because you talked about the ton of bricks on your back and just all that lifted off right there. It's like, I did it. Moving forward now. That
would be an absolutely amazing moment. That would be my new favorite moment in racing.
What's your favorite moment right now?
With the meeting Alfred for the first time.
Okay. And what made that so special?
You know, when I first met him, it was just his cool level-headedness, and then he kind of became a mentor to me. You know, he would always give me advice and help out and just help guide me through this. And he's just an absolutely amazing guy. Okay. And Alfred, remind me again, is the individual who introduced you to racing? Or... He's the guy that I wrecked with for the first time.
That's right. Okay. And what makes that, like, as far as, I mean, Alfred seems like to be the turning point. Like, you got in that accident, he said, have fun with it. It's okay. Stuff happens. But so you would take him more as a mentor in the early days?
I do. And he's always helped me and supported me and given me, you know, the best advice I could ever ask for. So he's been a guide almost to me.
Okay. And that's good to have throughout a career and life, is a good mentor, one who understands what you're going through and one that pushes you. That's really awesome. Well, you got anything for him, Preston?
I got nothing. You're really good at leading these interviews. You know how to keep the flow going.
You got to keep the flow going, man.
I'm over here just like, anytime I think of a question, it's not even
smooth like going down the river.
Yeah, exactly.
Sometimes you hit rapids.
Yeah,
I hit rapids all the time.
You hit rapids in life. You just have to navigate through them. Well, Owen, we're gonna wrap it up, man. I appreciate you again coming on the show. Show will be out Thursday and it will be on YouTube. I'm looking forward to it. This has been one that we've been looking forward to. I'd like to get you back on before the 2021 season to see where you're at and progressing and stuff. I guess I could see big things in your future just with the simple fact that your attitude is awesome.
I would love to do that.
And I appreciate you for being on the show and listening to the show. I really do, man. And by all means, tell people you're on and let's spread the word, man. And hopefully people get to know you more and watch the ARCA series and follow you. Follow your team. Best of luck in Bristol.
Thank you.
And we'll see you around, man. Again, thanks for taking the time.